Hi, I'm glad you've clicked play because I want to share with you a concept that I've been mulling over for a few years now, and that's helped me a lot to reflect on in my learning journey. That is the importance of the comfort zone. So, over the past few years, or maybe even longer than that, like decade, I feel like we see a lot of memes and posters about, step outside your comfort zone, challenge yourself. No learning happens inside your comfort zone. Those kinds of things. And although I agree with parts of them, I think that it ends up giving the comfort zone a bad rap, and it's a little too simplified. I have found that the comfort zone is absolutely critical to learning and to challenging ourselves. So, I want to share with you a little bit about how to use your comfort zone to keep growing, keep progressing, all those things that we're all after. So, um, a few years back, I learned from a woman named Stephanie Burns. Many of you are familiar with her, and she taught with Linda Pirelli in the Pirelli program. One of the things that she shared that revolutionized my teaching, I was teaching elementary school at the time, and just really caused me to take a look at myself as a learner, is this concept of the zones of learning. So I'm going to put up a little visual, and then I'll talk through it. So she talks about this idea that there are three zones of learning. The first one being our comfort zone. So in our comfort zone, we don't need to think about things. It's comfortable. We're not challenged. So it might be a cozy place in your home. My porch is a place that I go to be in my comfort zone. It might be with a certain person, so it's a place where you can recharge your batteries. Then the learning zone is the next ring outside the comfort zone. And the learning zone is where, surprise, surprise, learning takes place. But the thing that's important to really understand about the learning zone is something that I mentioned in a couple emails back, that it can be really uncomfortable. And we can kind of be like, well, why am I going to go there? Why don't I stay in my comfort zone? Well, if we want to grow and progress, we do need to go there. So knowing that you might be uncomfortable for a little while, is really helpful. And then also having a plan of getting back to your comfort zone. So, for example, a couple weeks ago I went and spent 10 days with someone that's new to me in as far as learning from him, and actually you're going to learn more about him in a couple of weeks. While I was there, I knew I was going to be really challenged. We worked all day long. And so I set up a little routine. I stayed in this trailer and I set up this little routine of hanging out with my horse with Suede, and then going to the trailer and talking to Brett, my husband, or I would write in my journal. I set up a routine of giving myself a place of comfort to recharge for the next day. So if you know that you're going to be in the learning zone for a while, you can even set up little treats along the way. Like, I'm going to, go take a drive in my car. I'm going to go for a walk, so that you're able to stay in the learning zone longer. Because one of the things about the being in the learning zone, it's an exciting, fun place to be. Also, it's not always uncomfortable. It can be really exhilarating and exciting. But if we stay there too long, we run the risk of going into the shutdown zone, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. So, so if we stay there too long, we're no longer in that zone of learning because we can't learn any longer. So I think that's another reason why I want to challenge those memes that I see, that all learning happens outside the comfort zone. Well, if you stay there too long, it doesn't, because you can't learn anymore. You got to get back to your comfort zone. So there's truth there, but it's not all true. So then there's the shutdown zone. And that is where no learning takes place either. So the shutdown zone and the comfort zone, we aren't necessarily going to progress in either one. Well, actually, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute with the comfort zone. But in your shutdown zone, learning doesn't take place. It is a place where fight or flight takes over. So, for example, let's say we get really scared of something, or we've stayed in our learning zone too long, or well, I guess those are two good examples. So if we're in a clinic and something has really scared us, or maybe even just being in the clinic itself might be you might be entering your shutdown zone. You're not able to take in information. You're sweaty, anxious, your heart's racing. Everything's telling you to get out of there. So if you go into your shutdown zone, you really need to retreat. And there's a variety of ways to do that. I'm sure you could probably teach a workshop on ways to calm yourself down. We all have learned different things that we can do, but when you're in the shutdown zone, you need to do something to get yourself out of there. So it might be asking somebody to hold your horse, or maybe that if it's to the degree that you're not going to learn anything, you might say, hey, I'm going to put my horse up and I'm going to watch for a while. Or you might go for a walk, and come back. And if you know this about yourself ahead of time, then you might do things ahead of time, like have a friend come with you, or, things like that to help you stay in the learning zone. Sometimes if we've been in the shutdown zone too long, we need to completely retreat to our comfort zone to be able to recharge and come back. So I think knowing these things, at least for me, it's set it up where I can come up with a plan, and then I also, when it's happening, I know what's going on, and I try to not be tough on myself. I try to go, hey, this is normal. This is a natural part of being human, and I do try to do the things that I know will help me either stay in the learning zone, or maybe I have to go back to my comfort zone. So one last thing that I want to say about the comfort zone is another challenge to that idea that learning only takes place outside of it. The comfort zone is the place you come to reflect on what you did while you were in your learning zone, or in your what happened when you were in your shutdown zone. And that reflection is a huge deal of learning. So it isn't that learning doesn't take place there. It's just that you have to go out of it to create the material that you can reflect on and then learn from. So I hope this helps you. I know for me, it's super important to keep remembering these things. And then if I'm in situations where I know that I'm going to be potentially in my shutdown zone, I can come up with a plan of, what am I going to do to help myself learn as much as I can and stay out of that shutdown zone. So hope this helps. Thank you for watching. And as always, I'm really grateful that you're a part of this and a part of my journey. And I hope it's helpful that I am a part of yours as well.